Car rental company Avis hitting the skids today, but the stock is still up a whopping 360% over the last year. If you've been lucky enough to ride the stock all the way up, the Chartmaster says now might be the time to hop off because the stock is headed for a breakdown. Let's get to Carter Worth of Worth Charting. Carter, what are you seeing?
Well, I'm seeing the word that you just used, whopping. I mean, it's been a whopper. But the question is, as is the case so often when stocks or currencies, commodities get ahead of themselves, at some point, it's just too much of a good thing. We saw it in lumber. We saw it in Moderna. Now, can they go higher day to day after one decides to sell or tries to sell short? Sure. But they always end the same way. Excess gets expunged. Let's look at three charts. The first is three-year chart with the 150-day moving average. And what we know is the stock has effectively doubled in the past 8 weeks, 90 to 180. It is trading higher above its 150-day moving average at any time in its history. Take a look at the next chart. This is a 5-year chart, but you start to get the same feel, but even more excess. And then a third and final chart. This is a 30-year chart. And what we know is it's been exceptional. Yes, there are probably stories of a bubble in used cars or shortages in this and blockchain, and it just goes on, and global problems with ports. But at some point, and this is the issue, you're priced for perfection. Interestingly, it has 8 analysts covering on the street, and collectively they think it's worth somewhere between 125 or 92 in the next 12 months. But the stock's trading at 180 as of yesterday. So at a minimum, I think you trim, take some profits, do something.
Carter, thank you. Carter Worth of Worth Charting. Excess gets expunged. Steve Grasso, you had once upon a time been in this name. You made some bold predictions as to where it would go. What's the status now?
Yeah, so I'm not in it anymore. I mean, you look at the chart, you get forced out of this stock pretty quickly in a good way. But the major metric that goes into this stock for valuation is the fleet pricing. So as Carter alluded to, if fleet pricing is through the roof and used car prices are through the roof, then this should be through the roof as well. It is. It's not absurdly priced given the landscape that we're in, but everything that we heard from Ford and we heard from GM, you have to believe that the chip shortage is the worst it's going to be now. If that subsides, then this stock comes in because the fleet prices come in. So I would be selling it. I agree with Carter. Oddly enough, the RSI, Relative Strength Index, is only at 71 on this, and it's up 115% in 29 days. So, yes, I'd be a seller along with Carter.
Hertz, headed now by Mark Fields, is also really ramping up and leaning into the competition, Pete. Where do you stand on Avis?
Yeah, you know what? You look at that chart, Mel, and it does kind of scare you off. And I look at the implied volatilities of the options that are trading in here as well, and they are extremely high. As a matter of fact, higher than Tesla, which we used to look at that as extremely high volatility. It's come down significantly. I think Steve is right. I think this is something where I think there will be opportunities, Mel. I would wait for a pullback. I think you're going to get a pullback. I think Carter laid this out very, very nicely, and I think that will be the opportunity. I don't think you need to chase this name after this incredible run that it's made to the upside. I just think you're trying to push too hard for something that I think is going to give you another opportunity much, much lower than it is right now.